everybody, this is Marie, and welcome to Marie's Chatty Tarot. Today we are going to talk about uh, the DNC that wrapped up today or last night, and there's a lot to say, but I want to explore and see if um pundits and other truthers are right about the cabal keeping Kamala on the ballot um, this November 2024, or if they're gonna trying to fudge up the rules and and switch her out with somebody else. Now, before we get started, I want to thank each and every one of you, uh, my current subscribers, my potentially new subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. And for those interested, today I am going to be using the Llewellyn Classic Tarot deck by Barbara Moore, illustrated by Eugene Smith. Pretty cool deck. I haven't used this deck for a while, but oh my God, I love it. The illustration, uh, you will see, they is gorgeous. So this week, I think it started August 19th to today, I think, but today is what, August the 22nd? We have seen slew of uh, 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 speakers at the DNC. So for those who are not new to this channel, but new to U.S. politics, there are two major um, uh, parties, the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. So the Republican Party had their um, RNC, uh, Republican National Convention, last month. That was right around the same week that Trump was shot, January 13th, not January, sorry, July 13th, and a few days after Trump accepted the nomination. Now, throughout uh, the few months before leading to July, everybody took note, everybody saw that the process was done fairly, it was done uh, correctly. If that's a word, if that's the proper word, that every state had a chance to choose their primary candidate, and Trump won in each and every state. It's there on the news, it's documented everywhere. Now, every state have their own rules and regulation, but for the most part, every state had a chance to choose who they were, the candidate that they were going to choose for the candidate. Now, for the RNC, for the Republican Party, there were several candidates in the running uh, to to win the spot. Trump was one of the nominees. Uh, what's his name? Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, uh, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, along with a bunch of other candidates, threw their hats to get the spot, but none of them won. It was pretty obvious uh, pretty soon for a lot of those candidates to uh, suspend their campaign and to give Trump their nomination, their endorsement, because it was clear that Trump uh, was going to win and did win each and every single state where his name was on the ballot. So Trump eventually won the nomination. Now, fast forward. Now, in this week, in August, DNC had their turn where they had, theoretically, they should have several candidates. And then, after debates, after votes for each of their delegates, after votes from each of their state, then, one nominee would have, should have gotten the nomination. Now, they did some funny business where it should have been Biden as the reigning president, so he would have been automatically the presumptive nominee. Now, if Biden, if everything was run properly, the DNC would have had other contender, and they had, which was RFK Jr. But they attacked him so much through lawfare and other, uh, underhanded tactics that he had to uh, leave the Democrat Party ticket altogether. And uh, appeared that it was done on purpose so that Biden had no contenders and no other nominees besides him. And they have found a way to boo Biden out of the campaign or out of being the nominee at the very last minute, so that again it appears that it was done intentionally, so that there's no other voters, no other nominees to elect. So it appears, and a lot of people are mentioning that it looks like a coup. You know that they've waited at the last minute so that uh, Harris became the reigning nominee without any uh, opposition. So here we are throughout this whole week. Um, uh, everybody is, each of the speakers were attacking Trump, and none of them were talking about the, uh, none of them were talking about, issues that were important to Americans, like border, inflation, um, the economy, crime, um, the illegals. None of the speakers were talking about the issues that were important to the American people. So even CNN have brought it up. And now on social media, a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are making note of it. They're like, nah, we're not down for creating history again. We did it with Obama. And a lot of Obama didn't really help minorities, specifically the black community. So you can see a lot of comments, a lot of people commenting on social media. So all of this to say, and uh, uh, and also um, a lot of people are mentioning that, look, you know, Kamala Kamala Harris is promising this and promising that, yet Biden, Obama, and her have been in power for 12 years. And Trump have only been in power for 4 years, and they have um, held the majority seats in the House. Uh, uh, it flips a little bit in the Senate, but what a lot of the people are noticing is that, look, you've been in power for a very long time. A lot of the issues that you're talking about right now are issues that you could have solved a long time ago. Shoot, you could have solved like 4 years ago while you were vice president, and now you're talking about uh, as if you're brand new, as if uh, you're new to the scene, where you've been in power as a senator, a prosecutor, whatever, vice president. Same with Biden, being in power for such a long time, and they, for example, they never codified abortion. If abortion was so important for it's a reproductive health, whatever, it's been so important to women and the Democrat Party. Why have they not codified it? Like, codify means passing a bill, having the Senate ratify, and then have the president sign it. They could have done that because Biden been in power for the last 3.5 years or so. Uh, they control the Senate because Harris is the one. There's a tie situation. Harris as vice president is the person that unblocked that tie. So everything is in their favor theoretically to They could have passed that bill to codify it and make it a federal law, but they're not going to do it. It's never been in their intention of doing it. They use it as a talking point. Why? Simple, because they want to tax people. How are they going to tax the population if there's no population to tax? So, because one of the things about, you know, uh, Democrats is about high taxes, pay your fair share and all that. But to tax somebody, you're gonna have a body to tax. So again, and a lot of people are not really making a note of that or emphasizing that part of the issue the way I think they should have. Anywho, sorry for it's a long intro, but fast forward. Um, so Obama spoke. Michelle spoke as well. So I guess that wrap up the DNC. So again, uh, a lot of mention of Trump, but nothing really substantial about the country, about what matters to real people. So now that you know Harris has secured the nomination, good for her. Again, they did the same thing that was done in 2020 and in 2016. Because in 2016, everybody knows who are paying attention that Bernie Sanders should have been um, the nominee for um, um, for the DNC instead of Hillary. But they did some funny business, and even Bernie had mentioned that with his interview with Theo Vaughn. You guys should check it out. Worth your time. And again in 2020, where um, Biden, they did something and Biden became the nominee. It should have been Tulsi, to my humble opinion. Remember, at that time, there was Tulsi, there was Harris, uh, Tulsi Gabbard, I mean, Harris, Andrew Yang, uh, Marianne Williamson, I believe that's her name, and a bunch of other people. But out of all of that, Tulsi should have got the nomination based on how well she did in that that debate that crushed Kamala. But anywho, the pattern has been set. The DNC, the Democrat National Convention, is a joke at this point, and I think whatever. So now Kamala Harris is the reigning uh, nominee. The boss that's gonna meet the other boss. So her and Biden are to meet with each other uh, on election night in November. But a lot of people are going with the uh, theorizing, predicting, analyzing that they might change her, swap her out, you know, and have another candidate come in. So I want to ask the card: is that scenario? Is that a likely scenario about that? So I guess the first question is Kamala uh, will be on the ballot, uh, uh, will face Trump in the ballot, uh, in the electoral, or I don't know. Will Obama? Well, oh my God, why am I having a brain foul? Will Kamala Harris be Trump's opponent in this November? So will Kamala Harris be Trump's opponent this November 2024? Will Kamala Harris be uh, Trump's opponent? Right? So let's see what the card says. And depending on what the card says, I guess we can ask a follow up question on that. So will Kamala Harris, because a lot of people think that she'll be swapped uh, with somebody else because of her polls imploding and people, really listening and paying attention to her and realizing that she's an idiot. So, not my words, it's other people. Never said such a thing. So, will Kamala uh, be Trump's um, opponent? So for those interested, I'm going to be using the Kachina knife spread. It's very popular among other tarot readers that are on YouTube. So let's see what the cards wants to share. King of Sword, first card. Three of Pentacle. Uh, that's the first card. So Three of Pentacle is the situation, and the Lovers in the back. Death card in the middle. That's a major arcana. So that card, that's interesting. And the King of Pentacle potential outcome. And this first card is going to be the Devil. This is a clarifier, so it's to further provide some additional insight. And this other clarifier card is another card to further, to kind of help provide additional details. So it's the Knight of Wands. Now, usually my Knight of Wands tends to be my um, alliance or the good guys. Um, so we asked, is Kamala's going to be Trump's how you call it uh, opponent this November with that deck card in the middle. So the deck card in the middle usually represent the present. It doesn't look like it because the deck card is transformation, but it also means ending as well because change can transform you to something else, right? So the first card, King of Swords. So King of Swords for me uh, means information, and the fact that it's a king, there's no higher card than the king in the suit. It doesn't matter the suits. As long as you see the king, there's no higher than that. So it looks like with that King of Sword, it could be either a ruling or some kind of legality or some kind of information. Swords, truth, words, information. Uh, uh, it's something harsh. Like, it looks like some major truth, like a truth bomb is going to come out. Uh, Devil underneath as a clarifier. So those two cards together is just like information, but it's going to be distasteful information, like very bad information. And I've been seeing that devil card for the last few months since my Black Swan card uh, post that I've done a few weeks ago. I've been seeing the devil card quite a lot. It's as if to say, you know, um, not monstrosity, but a lot of like dysfunction because everything devil is to the extreme, like excess, corruption to the excess, um, um, debauchery to the excess. I mean, everything you can think of, addiction, greed. I mean, all of it, but to the extreme. And that's what the devil goes. So whatever truth bomb or information that's gonna come out is gonna be like over the top to the extreme, and it's gonna be true. It's gonna be real, uh, and it's just gonna be like a, I don't want to say a massive splash, but it's intense, right? Because uh, sword is wind, it's biting, it's cold, and it it pierces you to the core. And the devil, again, excess, nothing good, very negative. Whatever is gonna come, information is gonna come about her. Now the Three of Pentacle. Now I guess based on what the feedback that we've been getting throughout the week about the DNC, the Democrat uh, National Convention, those speakers, instead of of giving people a reason to vote for Democrat, instead they have unified um, people in a cemented people's belief, position, ideas, because the Three of Pentacles is factual, is tangible, is real. And Three of Pentacles, uh, and that's, well, Pentacles in general, it usually shows like those gold coins, but this card, Three of Pentacles, is the only card where the pentacles are so shown in cement form, like to say that it's cemented. And there's a consensus. You see people working together, people coming together, unifying, and they're seeing the truth. The evidence is clear. you know it's right there. As soon as you open your house, you open your fridge, you see the evidence. It's right there. Their handiwork, right, with that art. Handiwork is right there for everybody to see. You look in your wallet, there's no money. You look in your bank account, hardly nothing. You look in your fridge, you're lucky if you have some food because of inflation, because of um uh um uh um, um scarcities, because of people losing their job, because of bad policies that the Harrises and her people have been putting together. And because of this, it's raising a lot of awareness. That Knight of Wands, people are like uh, moving. Uh, People have a renewed sense of inspiration, of motivation. It's like, now we're moving away from this, because every time you see a knight, it's a movement card, and the movement is like, we're moving away. We're moving in a different direction. We're motivated for something else. That is not you, Kamala. And I guess, again, we've seen that on social media. We've seen that even on CNN, uh, Times Magazine, you name it. I'm talking about New York Times. A lot of the uh, left leaning outlets have is saying the same thing. Have you been in power this time? What have you done? So a lot of people are like, you know, the evidence is clear right in front of their eyes, and they're not they're not with it, and they don't like what they see, and they are motivated to moving in another direction. Right now, in the recent past, the lovers. So the lovers, like, there was an arrangement to have Kamala be placed where she is. So we've seen that, because lovers is about communication. It's about um, it can be government agreement. So clearly, there was an agreement for Kamala to take over, and a lot of people, even Pelosi, did an interview and said that, yeah, Biden's signature was not his, didn't look that it was his, and then the paper, or there was no presidential seal to make it an official. So there was a discrepancy in that letter where Biden mentioned that he was not gonna do where he was not campaigning, where he removed himself. So a lot of people claim that it was a coup. So clearly, uh, somebody have orchestrated all that, and it looks like Harris uh, was part of it and agreed uh, for that coup to either take place or to do nothing to stop, all of that, whatever. So, anywho, agreement was made. She is where she is right now. So, the deck card, so because of the truth coming out, people coming to the consensus, coming together and saying, okay, this is not looking good. The Democratic Party is not cohesive. Cohesive in making sure that everybody agreed that Trump might be the best bet at this point, because the DNC did not offer any solution to none of the problems that the American people face. So because of that, uh, combination of the truth, combination of people waking up with with information coming out. Uh, Death card. Uh, so, and I think Trump may have mentioned that oh, there's an information about Kamala that's about to come out, and this seems like that information is going to transform the landscape of that election, where you know that information will transform the situation, and whatever that information is, King of Pentacle again, it seems like it's going to be pretty big. Um, uh, because uh, the King of Pentacle for me tends to be, it could be a person who has generational wealth. It could be information. So not only that the information is a big information, but it can implicate somebody who's pretty powerful within uh, Kamala's camp, or maybe it was a donor. Is it like a sponsor? Is it like how do you call it, lobbyist? Is it like a somebody funding her? I mean, I don't know, but whatever, whoever that person is, and usually is somebody with very strong male energy with that king. It could be a woman, it could be a man, but whoever that person is, they have very strong masculine energy, and that person's very powerful and had a lot of sway. So it looks like that person is going to be exposed. So maybe that person was in the shadows, in the background, and somehow whatever information that's going to come out, it's really going to transform the landscape, and it's really going to expose again with the devil card, really putting that person out of the shadow, expose them, and that is really going to accelerate things somehow with that knight, because again, movement is going to like flare things up, because wand, knight of wands is fire, motivation is really going to flare things up, intensifying things. Two more cards. Wheel of Fortune, again, the fortune's going to change, and the way that the information is going to come out with that Six of Cups is going to be very organic, very um it's gonna come out in a way, uh it's as if something's from the past is gonna come in the forefront, because every time you see Six of Cups, is usually very kind, it's done very, very gentle, very kind way. That's how that card reads for me, but it's something, some information from the past, but the way it's gonna come out, um uh, it's gonna come out in a roundabout kind of sort of way. So I guess anybody who done research about Kamala, maybe they know already. I've done some light research about her. I have done too deep, because what I found was disgusting as it is. But if you know what the card may be talking about, feel free to comment, um, like, share this video. I'm curious to see what you have to say. And so, okay, so now we kind of sort of have an idea that maybe there's a strong possibility with that, the death card and the devil card and the wheel of fortune. That's not a major arcana in one reading. So the card kind of saw the answer. So will, a lot of people have talked about possibly Michelle. So will Michelle be the most likely running uh, meeting Trump in opposition? So that's the sun card that pops up. That's interesting. All right. So will, I'm thinking, would it possible that from the last reading that I did, the reading I did just now, could it be that that King of Pentacle, whoever they're exposing is Kamala, uh, that could possibly be a man? I mean, it is in the realm of possibility, because I've seen some footage of her where she's clearly looking like she's wearing a mask. Anyway, neither here or there. Um, we're gonna glaze through that one, because again, we are in. I'm gonna post this on YouTube, so I'm gonna breeze past through that comment. So let's ask: is Michelle Obama most likely will possibly, if if they decide to, based on the information that's going to come out or reveal, that's going to come out about um, Kamala, maybe that they will say, well, maybe she's too toxic right now. Maybe we need to change her with Michelle, because I know for the last 2 years, uh, X22 report. If you don't follow him, you should give him consider giving him a follow. He was on YouTube, and 3.5 years ago he was purged. So you can currently see him on Telegram and his website and Rumble. So just want to put it out there. But he has been swearing up and down that Michelle is gonna be the one that they will do some kind of funny business again, change the rules, and then they will find a way to remove Kamala or have Kamala resign. You know, uh, whatever narrative or propaganda that they will do at that time to have Kamala save face, because you know she's a woman of color, so you cannot make her look bad. And then they will have another black woman or another woman of color, uh, woman. That's a nice one. Would uh, take over, and that woman again, question mark on the word on woman. It will take Michelle will take over. So anyway, um, so let's see what the cards wants to share about that. So will Michelle most likely be the one to replace uh, Kamala? Michelle Obama. Will Michelle Obama most likely? So will Michelle will most likely be. Two of Pentacle, Queen of Swords, situation, um, the Fool, recent past, Temperance, uh, present, and the Emperor, potential outcome. Six of Cups, again, is showing up. That's interesting. As a clarifier, and Nine of Cups as clarifier. So it looks like it's a 50-50% possibility that Michelle might be the one that they trust, pun intended, into the limelight. But I guess certain situation needs to be met. But again, it depends on how that information, whatever information that's going to come out, it depends on how it's perceived or how it's viewed or uh, the angle or whatever, how it's spin or something to that effect. But so it's a 50% chance that it could be Michelle. Um, but so again, temperance. So temperance in the middle, or it's the present, meaning that things somehow will work out, or things will flow uh, in a not naturally, because everything that's going on with the Democrat Party is not natural, but it looks like it's going to feel like it's going to be a proper sequence of events. It if that makes sense. It's an a situation. The Queen of Swords is saying that um, again, a lot of truth, information that's pretty harsh is going to come out. And again, that card with the Queen of Sword, that's the little sister of the Justice card. So the Justice card, that means that maybe something, legality, or something like maybe a verdict, or maybe uh, documents, or maybe it's like some proof, like pretty credible. Because the Queen, again, very up there with the king. The king, there's no higher than the king, but the queen is going to be some very damning evidence. And when that information comes out with that Nine of Cups, people who've known or done research, like truthers, digital soldiers, or people who followed the 17 letter of the alphabet movement, they're going to be ecstatic because it feels like it's going to be some type of a marker of sort. And um, okay, okay. So recent past, recent past, the Fool. So whoever whoever's orchestrating this whole thing, uh, the way that the DNCs behaved, the way that um, they nominated Kamala without any opposition, the way that they only focus on bashing Trump without offering any solutions to the American people. Um, uh, all of this is really making the Democrat Party looks foolish. And because of that, uh, not only a lot of Democrats are feeling like fools and turning away, starting a new journey. So a lot of them are either, at this point, maybe either uh, gonna list themselves as independent or Republican or some other party, but they're not gonna be Democrat for sure. So not only they're feeling foolish, and they are moving away um, um, from the party itself because you know it because the consensus, the feeling based on that fool, that if you remain a fool and you continue drinking the Kool-Aid with those leftists, they will drive you over the edge on the precipice. And they will say that, no, that's not the edge. They will gaslight you. No, we're not falling. We're not, we're not free falling. So, anywho, the temperance card again in the middle said that it looks like things are gonna work out in a way. Things are gonna naturally make sense, even though their destruction is there for everybody to see, but everything is gonna make sense somehow. Okay. The emperor. So the emperor says, as potential outcome, that law and order will prevail because that's what the emperor is. The emperor is the uh, ruled by Aries, is about creating order out of chaos. So it feels very much like either if you have followed the movement, the Q movement, and if you uh, pay attention to certain patterns, it looks like, you know, if you believe that there's been a group of people, a resistance, or a opposition to the cabal, it looks like they're going to emerge or step over, maybe more in public view than before. Uh, Now, if you follow Q, you might say, "Oh, the military is showing themselves," something to that effect. That a group, the group that opposed the cabal, that opposed the New World Order, that opposed that reset, they are. It looks like they're gonna come out somehow. But the way and that's gonna please a lot of people, those conspiracy theorists, I guess, like me, or people like digital soldiers, or people like uh, truthers, people who have been paying attention to what's been going on, who have been awake since, shoot, some people have been awake since the assassination of JFK. Some people have been awake since 9/11. Some people have been awake since Trump. And you see where I'm going with this. So a lot of people will recognize this as a marker, and will be very happy. because it signals to the world that, yes, this chapter is about to come to a close. This matrix, this unhinged craziness of the cabal is gonna, uh, I guess, it's gonna dictate that, we have been at war, information war, and that, now the the players are really showing themselves, right? So it kind of sort of answered our question, but did not. You love the cards sometimes. I'm thinking too much cards. Um, so it looks like, so the Eight of Pentacles, you see this craftsman working on his craft. So it looks like somebody or a group is going to diligently put out evidence, information out there, for people to really study, really pay attention, really, um, really focus on what's going on, because the pentacle is about tangible. Uh, it's about uh, evidence. It's non-refutable because it's real. You cannot, yeah. And the Ace of Pentacles is like, and I think at that same time, it also feels like this, that a new system is gonna come out, or I guess, something about the money system. So a new opportunity is gonna present itself. So it looks like, you know, depending on how situation flows, Aries may stay or they may bring Michelle, but it's 50-50. The card don't want to uh, say or share. It's as if, the cards want us to enjoy the ride and be surprised. Just go with the flow. Things will work out. That's what the cards are saying. Don't worry your pretty little head, you know, and just pay attention. And then uh, players are gonna come out and show who they are, and it seems like it's gonna be a grand reveal and opportunity, or uh, because this is a new beginning, the Ace of Pentacle, like either a new money system is gonna emerge out of all of this, subsequent, oh Lord, uh, why am I losing my word? Soon after, uh, this whole thing, um, and or evidence, major evidence, going to present it to the American people. So, okay, so that's that's it, my friend. This is pretty cool. That was interesting. So I'm gonna stop it there because I don't want this video to be longer than it should. Because you know how it is. Once the cards starts chatting, it's it's nonstop. So thank you guys for sticking to the end of this video. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you are surviving. I hope that you are maintaining shit. I hope that you are thriving, right? And I I I am very blessed that uh, I have you guys with me on this journey. Again, thank you. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.